I am going to be doing my 1-year review on my 2020 KTM 500 excf. This bike is fucking badass, and if you don't have one, I think you should go. Okay, so first thing I did was I did a key eliminator kit because I think keys are stupid, and if you're in the woods and you crash and you go, oh no, I lost my key, well, you're screwed. So now I have no key. You just turn and go. No bullshit, nothing, done, good to go. Second thing I did, which was just the obvious, was I took off the back can and removed the factory spark arrestor and whatever else crap was in there. It was just completely clogged up. It was like a reverse dildo inside there, just fucking clogging the whole entire bike up. So definitely get rid of that. There's companies where you could just pretty much just get the whole entire kit and slide it on and be done with it and have to do, but I did the other way. I just ripped it apart and put it back on, and that's done. Second thing I did was I went through bestenduro.com and I did an electronic jet kit because these bikes run extremely lean right out of the factory. So of course, first thing I wanted to do was make sure that this bike had more than enough fuel, because they always say it's better to have more than not enough. So hook this up, and then that was followed by having my throttle position sensor, which on the new ones, it's right up in here. I guess they changed the design from 19 to 20, so you got to do a little finagling to get at the sensor, but you know, it's the same concept. Go in there, run the harness to it, you know, be really super gentle with adjusting it. I have my setting at 0.67. That has been the best setting for me by far. I also did a desmogging kit because emissions and yada yada yada, so I eliminated all that, and just from doing that alone, this bike had a serious flame out problem. And when you're riding in the trails, and especially if you're trying to get technical, you're up on a steep hill, you got to go slow, rock climb, whatever, the last thing you want to have happen to you is stall out at the worst possible time, roll off, eat shit, not fun. So I made sure I did that as well. Other thing I did, because, well, I've been hearing people doing it, is I added a 9-ounce flywheel weight right inside. It's the smallest one you can do, but it'll allow you to keep your factory clutch case. I believe anything bigger than 9 ounces, you have to change this out and, you know, get an aftermarket one. I didn't want to do that. I like the way it looked. I haven't busted it up enough yet to have to replace it. So when that comes, maybe I'll try it out and see how that goes. Second thing I did is, from the factory, at least this thing came with a really cheesy skid plate. No protection whatsoever except for the lower part of the frame. So I got this one. It's plastic. It's actually really nice. No engine sound bouncing back at you. So, and I ride really rocky stuff, really takes a beating, holds up well. It's a TMD. I got it online. I think they're like a couple $100, but totally worth it. This thing has been through hell and back and still works wonders. Also, I immediately did a Trailtech Voyager Pro GPS / Speedo / whatever you want to call it on there, because when I go riding in the woods, especially if I go by myself, I like to have the option of being able to download the GPX file, at least to see where I am. So if I do get lost, which happens all the time because I have zero sense of direction whatsoever, this thing will save your ass more than you can ever imagine. It's totally worth the money. Thing looks cool, works cool, and if you wind up going on a trip and you're like, whatever, you know, you could just disconnect it and it comes off with you, and it has its own battery source inside, so you can charge it on your bike, or you could just take it off the bike, take it with you for security. One of the most important things I've done to this bike so far is I wound up getting a whole different set of springs for this bike through Trailtech. They make really good stuff. Not sponsored by them or anything whatsoever, just, you know, I like their products and they make really good stuff. Out of the factory, the bike suspension on this is extremely soft. I'm not a fan of it because, you know, I weigh 225 pounds, and I found that when I was riding over logs, whoops, even hitting some burly jumps, I'd bottom out, and I would bottom out pretty hard. So I had no choice. I had to do the spring upgrade regardless. And once I did all that, this bike rides 10 times better. If you're like 140 pounds, sure, you could probably get away with it, but me, I had to do the spring adjustment, and totally worth the money of getting it done. I know on the 2020s, you know, they got all this, you know, dampening adjustments on here. Some people say they don't touch it right out of the box, they just leave it the hell alone. The only thing I did was set my sag, because sag is, you know, to a lot of people is extremely important. There's really not much else. I did the tires. I don't really use DOT legal tires on this bike because I don't really spend a lot of time on the road. I spend more time in the trails than anything else. Maybe spend 3 miles tops, 4 miles tops on pavement, and then I go right back to street. This isn't my enduro adventure bike. Like, I actually use this thing for riding trails. I ride it like it's meant to be ridden. You can do that and make it into an adventure bike if you want to. People have done it, but I just, you know, that's just what I do. Yes, this is a 6 days. It's got all the cool little bling features on it. Honestly, when I bought the bike, it wasn't for the fact that it was the bling. I pretty much walked in and said, I want a 500. I weigh too much. And, you know, after riding, you know, someone's 300, I realized that maybe the 500 is a really big bike, and I could have definitely went with something smaller. But you know what? It's here. I'm gonna ride it. I'm gonna beat the hell out of it and enjoy it. And if you are looking at getting one, these things are an amazing bike. There's, you know, a handful of things that you can do to make them, you know, extremely fun. Another thing that if you'd want to do, depending on how you feel about gearing, I'm running the stock gearing on this, and it's a 48 and a 14, I believe. Some people go to 1550, and that allows you to, you know, get a longer gear range, you know, driving on the street. I don't mind it being zippy as is. I like the pep. You know, having a downshift and upshift constantly, that can get a little annoying, but, you know, you can just fine tune yourself, or you can, you know, change your sprockets out to help you stay in one gear when you're riding through the trails and the techie stuff. But all in all, I gotta say that this bike was a great buy. It has really surpassed my expectations, and I can't wait to keep on going with this and see where it takes me. You know, we unfortunately, due to COVID, you know, I wanted to start doing hare scrambles and some races, but a lot of those got canceled in my area, so I wasn't able to really get on the ball and really get out and race. But a lot of the places that you can go ride are still open, so me and a few people just go riding here and there, and like to, you know, just keep on riding, enjoying ourselves. And you know, maybe one of these days I'll be able to put a video up with some racing and everything going on. Oh yeah, also, factory headlight is complete bullshit. Sucks. Get rid of it. Get a Cyclops. They're extremely good. They're a little on the pricey side, but if you're going to be riding at night, you need to be able to see what you're doing, and these stock headlights are absolute garbage. And it's the cheapest headlight mod that I know of before you're actually replacing the whole entire lens setup. So that is everything that I can say about the bike. Super happy with it. It's the only thing is, you know, maintenance wise, I change the oil in this bike probably every 2 rides because I ride really aggressive. So, and they say change like every 14 hours or so, but depending on how you're riding, if you're going easy, you can probably, you know, actually get to the 14 hours. But with me, probably 1-2 days, especially romping in the mud and the water, whatever. It's just, it makes me feel better spending a bunch of money and wasting it on oil, knowing that my motor is going to be okay. So to each their own. I hope you enjoyed. This is really my first review of doing anything of any kind. If you have any questions, I'll put all the info of all the parts and links, not links, of all the stuff I've done on the bike in a link below. And that'll be that. Other than that, keep riding.